Hi, friends. In today's episode of Warehouse Management series, we will be starting off with the work and work template in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. So, if you are watching this WMS series from the beginning, I hope we have actually gone through various important concepts of warehouse management like release to warehouse, shipment, outbound waves, and shipment consolidation. So, a lot of important functionalities we have deep dived into it, and we also saw the setups and how to do the uh, complete the processes using the same, right? So today we will be exploring about work and work template, and because this is also an important concept, because at the end of the day, whatever we did so far is primarily to ensure that, because previous episode, in episode number 10, we were covering about the location directives. So we did whatever we did so far is primarily to ensure that we need to create and complete the work. So this is very very important episode, and probably we will deep dive into it in the next three episodes. Primarily we will be focusing only on the work and work template and how to handle different scenarios using the work template, work processing policies, and work policies, how to define it. So a lot of things we are going to cover in the next three episodes. So if you want to get regular updates, please make sure that you follow my profile in LinkedIn, or if you are using YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, right? So let's get into the today's presentation. First of all, so we are in the episode number 11, and we have already completed 10 episodes regarding the warehouse management series. So if you are coming directly to this episode, I will strongly recommend you to start off from episode number 1. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand this episode number 11. And so in this episode number 11, our primarily I would say the agenda for episode number 11, 12, and 13, the three episodes is primarily we'll be deep diving into work template and what is a work class, how this work class is helps you to link the work order lines to the mobile device. And then we will also cover about work menu items. So if we get into Microsoft Dynamics 365 screen, so there are a lot of functionalities which are related to the work menu item. We will be deep diving into this, and then we'll also get into what are the actions which we can perform using the D365 screen and also using the mobile device. So that also we will try to understand during the work menu session. Probably we will not cover it in today's session. In today's episode, we will be primarily focusing on work template, and work class and work menu. We will be covering it in episode number 12. And last but not least, we will be getting deep dive into work scenario handlings. So there are various scenarios which can be handled based on the picking or replenishment or put operations, where the warehouse worker can perform those business specific scenarios. That's what we will see, how to handle those scenarios in probably in episode number uh, 13, right? So make sure that you continue to watch the video until end. So let's get into work template. So far we have seen this setups related to item configuration, mobile device setup for the worker, wave and wave templates, how to configure waves, how to perform release to arrows for a sales order, how to perform shipment consolidation, what is fulfillment policy. So we saw all the related we all in the last episode number 10 we saw about location directives, right? So in today's episode we will be covering about work template. So I am sure that after today's episode, if you have followed all the configurations what we have done right from the beginning, after today's episode you should be able to generate the work. You should be definitely able to generate the work. I won't say you will be able to complete the work, but that should be should be able to do it. But you should be definitely able to generate the work. And but in the next episode we will talk about how to complete the existing work or cancel the work, or what are the possibilities that can be done in the work menu item. But today's episode, if you have been following for the last 10 episodes, I am sure that you will be, after today's episode you should be able to generate the work using the work template. So work template primarily defines what work, whether it is booked or pick or count or replacement, what work need to be performed, right? We discussed about location directives, which actually defines where the work need to be performed, in which location it has to be performed, right? So work template primarily defines what work need to be performed. So if we get into the definition of work template, a work template is used to create and process warehouse work at various stages in the warehouse management process. So it consists of where this work can be a part of various stages of the warehouse management process, right? Whether it can be inbound or outbound, or within the warehouse if you want to perform any warehouse operations. So it can be various part of stages of the warehouse management process. And number two is a valid work template should be specified in pairs of pick and put. So let's say if you were specifying a work for a sales order, you need to ensure that if your work template is valid, you need to have a valid pick and put pair. If you have two picks, you should have two puts. If you have three picks, you should have three puts. So that makes a valid pair, right? So you should always remember, this is very very important, that you need to provide a valid work template. Otherwise your work template will be invalid and you will not be able to generate the work. So we will also see this in the D365 screen. And also you can create a work template for the following types of warehouse related activities, whether, like I said, for inbound transactions, or for the purchase order, registration, for picking of inventory items, or production related task. If you want to perform the work, if you want to perform the warehouse work or inventory transfers movement. So all these are possible by configuring the work template accordingly, right? So first let's get into the D365 screen. So if you want to generate a work, all you have to do is, first of all, um, go get into warehouse management, and then go to setup. Under setup, you have the option called work and then work template. So navigate to work template. So first of all, let's explore the screen, right? So we have two grids over here. One grid is overview, and one grid is actually for the work template details. So first of all, whenever you create a new work, just click on new, right? So by default the system says this is invalid. So let's give a name for this for our understanding. 16 WMS is the warehouse which we created. So I'm just giving uh, the same name. So the name, whatever the work template name which you are giving, you just make sure that it is understandable for um, your business specific users, so that you can configure it accordingly, right? So this is very important. um, First let me scroll up. So you need to make sure that these you have to make sure that sometimes you can see the label is not visible. So you have to make sure that you scroll the bar accordingly so that you can view the field labels. So the first most important setup here, I would say, is you need to, before clicking on new, probably I should have said that first you need to make sure that the work order type is appropriate, whether the work order you are creating for sales order or purchase order or raw material picking or finished good put away. So each and every work order type that is possible in warehouse operations is listed over here, right? So each and every, based on each and every work order type, the appropriate selections over here may vary. So first you need to make sure that the appropriate work order type is selected over here, because if you have seen in episode, I will just duplicate the screen. If you have seen in our episode number 10, when we were configuring location directives, in location directives also the first important setup is work order type. So the same work order type you need to make sure that you select in work template also. Let's say if you are creating for a sales order, or if you are creating for raw material picking, or if you are creating for a purchase order, right? So let's say we are creating for a purchase order. So just select the work order type accordingly, right? So once I select the work order, you can see the existing work templates vary. So let's say if I select raw material picking, so there is only one work template which is actually created for raw material picking. If I select finished goods put away, so there are only two templates which are actually created for finished good put away. So to make sure that first important point here is you select the appropriate work order types, right? So next point here is, so let me close this. So so we have two grids. Like I said, we have a one is overview, another one is details, right? So let's say we have created for this is 16 hyphen WMS uh, is the work template which we created. And the first point is Once if the valid pair is not captured in work template details, you will not, this checkbox will not be enabled automatically. You cannot enable this from the front end, but this will be enabled automatically once the system finds a valid pick and put pair. So that's why I said in the previous slide, a valid work template should be specified in pairs of pick and put. And then this will be automatically enabled. And the second option is automatically process. So this is not recommended at all. So this primarily D365 says if you want to process the items which are not inventory, then you can use this because the work will be automatically processed in those cases. So generally this is, it is not recommended to enable this automatically process until unless it is not a inventoried item, right? So that's what I have written over here. Also select if the work should be automatically processed, the action is not physically needed in the warehouse. So you don't need a physical action in the warehouse, so in those cases you need to enable this, otherwise just keep it as blank. And then work pool id, work pool id defined to assemble work into specific groups, so similar to purchase pool or sales pool. So this will help you to uh, group the works. This can be used for completing the work or assigning the multiple works to the warehouse worker. This primarily it can also be used for reporting purposes. Whenever you want to have additional filtrations, you can use work pool id. If you want, you can add it. There is a separate master for this, so you need to make sure that you add the work pool id, and then based on your requirement, and you can add it for grouping purpose. And then the next field is called work priority. So work priority is used to prioritize work in the workflow for the mobile device. So once you give a certain priorities over here, whenever the, let's say you can have multiple templates for the same warehouse. For the same warehouse 51, you can have maybe 10 different templates, but based on the priority, the system is going to prioritize those work and assign it to the warehouse workers in the mobile device. I'll also show you in the mobile device how it actually works. So but this work priority, based on the work priority, warehouse worker can complete the appropriate work, because those are required on priority, right? So so this is what it is. So we have actually explored the overview, and even if you get into general, where you can provide additional details about maximum number of pick lines, maximum total volume that can be handled in this work. So all those can be configured over here. And packing quantity as maximum, what is the maximum quantity in the packing slip, so that if you want that to be produced, generated. I think probably we will touch upon this when we cover about the load and load planning, in maybe in the episode number 15, 16. So that's where we will cover about this packing slip, not right now. So these are additional configurations. If you want, you can do it, right? So first we covered about overview in general. Next, what we have called work template details. Just click on new. So this line number 14, each and every line selection, based on the line selection, there is a pick and put operation which is linked to those specific lines, right? So you need to make sure that you select the appropriate line in order to view these work template line level information. So now we are in line number 14. Let me click on new. Uh, so let's get into the presentation also. So in the work template details, so in the work template details section, we have few options over here. First one is called work type. What is the type of work which you want the system to perform? So within the sales order, you can perform certain operations like pick, put, or counting, or whatever you want to perform. This is a common drop down. Even if you have given purchase order replenishment, you will be able to see the appropriate work type. So let's say I want to perform the pick operation. So first you need to select the work type. So that's what it is, type of work to be completed. And then you can also provide custom work. But this custom work type will be enabled only if you select the option custom over here. So you can, this is a separate master where you can provide the custom work types based on your own requirement, because this is a fixed enum there. You cannot add any more values over here, right? So here, if you select the custom option, then custom work type is a separate menu items where you can provide a custom work types also. So currently this master is, I'm not given any values over here. If there is a need, you can add it over here also for the custom work types. But I would say honestly, this is not required until unless you really have some complex configuration which is required. But I'm sure that is not required. Next one is mandatory. Once the mandatory is always enabled by automatically, this step mandatory to be completed in the workflow. So whenever the work is performed in the warehouse app, this step is mandatory. You cannot skip this. And then the fourth option is stop the work. Stop the work, so another user can pick it up or it can be picked up at another time. So this stop work, if you want, you can enable this. But actually, I would say if once the stop work is enabled, then actually the after the work is performed, it will be stopped. So the either it is going to be assigned to another user, or you want to perform any quality operations, because that also can be done. You want to do some quality check. In those cases, you want to pick it, perform the quality work, and then only you want to complete the put away operation. In those cases, you can do a stop work. Also, I would say you can use freeze option. That is better to use, because freeze is basically work line will be temporarily blocked for warehouse worker. So warehouse worker will not be able to complete the put operation or count operation. Let's say if I would have added one more line put operation, then if I have freezed it after completing pick, I will not be immediately go. I will not be able to proceed for pick itself. So stop is basically after this operation is completed, it will stop the pick operation. But freeze is you will not be able to perform the pick operation itself. It will be blocked. The status will come as blocked. Primarily, we will also see this how it can be achieved in the mobile app. And then directive code. This is the most important concept, I would say. This helps to associate work template with the location directive and helps ensures the warehouse work is processed in correct warehouse location. So you might be wondering, we were keep on saying that work template defines what work need to be performed, and location directive defines where it need to be performed, right? So in our previous episode, we actually defined the location directive 16-WMS put and 16-WMS pick. So this need to be linked to our work template, right? So this directive code actually does it. So primarily system checks the directive code for the put operation. So you can see the help text also to the work template put lines having this code assigned. So that need to be assigned over here. But this is not mandatory for the pick operation, but for put operation, you need to ensure that the directive code is assigned. And then we have work class id. Right now I'll just simply assign a work class id, but this is also an interesting topic which we will take it up in the next episode, right? So and then you need to ensure that, because system, like I said, you need to provide a pick and pair is not valid. So you need to provide a pick and put is pair should be there. So this is also, I'll give it as mandatory. I'm not giving a stop work. If you want, you can enable the stop work. I'll just simply keeping this as a simple direct work line. So this is also now generated. Now if I click on save, we will not get that error message because we have a valid pick and put pair, right? So, so work class ID primarily we will take it up in the next session. Probably in the episode number 12, we will get into it, because which is also very important. Why we are assigning this work class ID, that you should understand. But as of now, you can assign this work class ID, because and once you assign the work class ID, it will help you to generate the work. But in order to complete the work, this work class ID need to be linked to a mobile work mobile menu item. So that we will take it up in the next episode. So I will just save this. And then the most important part is, because we have no, we have not given in any overall if you have seen, we have not given anywhere the varos in which it should work or which location profile it should work. We have not given in any of these details. So first, most important thing is, after doing all this configuration under edit query, we need to add and provide the appropriate varos and or the location profile in which this configuration should work. Let's say if I have, what is the warehouse? Yeah, 16-WMS. Then in 16-WMS, this is what this is the work template which system is going to pick. And if you want, you can add the location profile also. System will check the specific location profile, or any other setup. If you want, you can do it location, or I think site also it can be given. I think so. No, site you cannot give site. So only at warehouse level it can be performed. um, Default location, inventory quantity, line number. So there are a lot of options here you can explore. I will recommend you to explore this. So based on specific conditions, you can provide a, and then use this work template for those specific conditions, right? So let me click on OK. So grouping will reset, that is fine. So in another screen, let me create a sales order quickly, because we this will actually help us to generate the work in a sales order, right? So let me give any customer account. uh, then let me give the values also. OK button. Sorry, I think I have not selected the arrows. OK button. So this one I actually have configured already, so that's why I will be able to do it. So this is the item which we were using right from the beginning of our episode. um, so as of now we have not configured the mobile device menu, so I'm just trying to show you. Once you configure the mobile device menu in the next episode, then you should be able to do it, complete the work. But the work generation is not dependent on that. um, so we have reserved it. Let me go and confirm it now. So now the sales order is getting confirmed. In the meantime, I'll also want to show you. See, 16A-WMS is the previous work template which we actually configured, right? So here also you can see we have a pick and put, and mandatory is enabled. We have not given stop or freeze, and directive code is linked, and the work class ID is also linked. And if I get into edit query, I also want to show you, because you can see only the arrows I have given 16A and WMS, right? And there are no other configuration which is related to this. So this is also a valid pair. And now the sales order is confirmed. Now let me go to Varos and then release to Varos. Now immediately when we released it in previous episode, the shipment was getting created, the wave was getting created, but the work was not getting created, right? So let me open the location directive also, because we have done the location directive setup also in the previous episode. um, so yeah, we have one location directive for put and one location directive for pick. So that's what system is going to use, because and we have linked the location directive put with the stage code directive code stage. So here also if you go in the put, you can see directive code stage. So the batch job is completed. So let me refresh. Uh, just refresh now. Let me click on Varos. You have the shipment work details. Just click on work details. Now you can see the work is actually generated for this item, right? So you just need to all you need to do is do the configuration similar to this. And then the next upcoming episode we will try to cover about the work menu item specifically. And also we will also try to understand why the work class ID is important, because we didn't explore about the work class ID. So we'll also try to cover about the work classes and what is work classes, what are the menu items, what are the various possibilities with work menu item: complete the work, cancel, block or unblock. Block is basically freeze option what we saw right now. So we will see all those options in the next episode. So in the episode number 12, we will continue to look into the details of, I would say, the work and the work template. And then episode number 13, we will also try to understand about specific business scenarios and scenario handling related to work. So just make sure that if you're following my page, that's fine. Then if you're watching this video for the first time, make sure that you follow my LinkedIn profile or my YouTube channel in order to get regular updates. Thanks for watching this video.